This team looked atrocious for the majority of the game on Saturday night at Washington. National title rematch. Give me your one-word reaction to Saturday's loss. You've had, 44 hours to stew on it or something around there. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Just give me one word down in the comments. Mine is disaster. That's how I'm feeling with this team that lost its first Big Ten game since October 30th, 2021. And frankly, unless things change overnight, they got a bye week coming up this week on Saturday. No game. I don't know if this won't be one of many Big Ten losses this season. It is the Michigan Football Report. We've got our Overreaction Monday coming up right now. Will Rogers had 271 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, greatly outpacing Jack Tuttle, who himself only had 98 yards in about 2.5 quarters of work. Donovan Edwards got back on the right side of things, nearly 100 yards and had a touchdown, while Colston Loveland continues to rack up catches, but not necessarily yards or game-impacting play. Just have that one touchdown as Jack Tuttle rolled out, missed Marlon Klein wide open in the center field. Finally, Loveland broke away and hit him for Tuttle's only passing touchdown of the season, and I'm pretty sure of his entire Michigan football career. Michigan went into the fourth quarter up 17-14, and once again, Wink Martindale's defense just completely doesn't get the job done, although Michigan did have 2 turnovers in the fourth quarter. Where does this team go from here? We're going to talk about it. I am reacting. I had to go out of town, some family stuff this weekend, so it ended up being in Minnesota. Was watching this game from my phone at the Minnesota USC game. Was so disappointed by the end of it. I just decided to follow the people by us and my cousin and rush the field there at Minnesota. But I didn't enjoy it, Jack. I didn't enjoy it. The last 2 teams Michigan played. Want to do some in-person scouting, a little bit of this. I guess it doesn't really help Michigan going forward. But I stallions them. Let me just tell you that. We're sitting like right at the 50, Jay. I ran at the 50, like the 35, 40-yard line. Pretty dang good seats. 5 rows off the field. Didn't decide. I'm protesting here. I'm not even combing my hair because I just don't want to. I don't want to put too much effort into this Michigan football team, given the effort they gave on Saturday night. So I'm rocking the hat, showing love to one of our big-time viewers. That's Wolverine, Alaska. We got some custom jerseys made for our top super chairs from last year. Number 1, overreaction, and I think I agree with every single overreaction we're going to have. So we're going to have 5 of them for you. I agree with basically all of them, but these are the things I've seen most over social media and articles and things like that over the last 44 hours. The Orji era is over. This offense is beyond putrid. He is not a college football quarterback. He is not a Power 4 quarterback. He certainly is not the quarterback that should be behind center for the defending national champions. It's not all his fault. I think this Michigan offensive game plan has been atrocious. I think Kirk Campbell has got a lot of proving to do with this team. We see the stats here, right? The lowest by far, by double almost, I guess by down 50%, the lowest pass yardage total in your first 3 starts by half as good as the previous guy in the last 50 years. He's 3 of 7 for 15. Now he got pulled after a quarter and a half, so maybe doesn't do a fair offering for Alex Orji. And the stats prior: 86 yards passing on 10 of 18 against Minnesota, and USC 7 of 12 for 32 yards. Now 1 touchdown pass, and he has 1 interception, 66 rushing yards. And that's really the most concerning thing, is that they never put him in a position, at least that I've seen, to run the ball, to break out. Everything was like 2 or 3 planned runs a game, maybe 3 or 4, and they weren't always really good one. He was a better runner when everyone knew he was coming in with J.J. McCarthy as the starting quarterback or Davis Warning as the quarterback than he was as the actual starting quarterback. You never saw an offense that was tailored to get him outside the pocket or snap back, fake, go up the middle. It seemed like after a few series against USC, everybody knew what this offense was going to be, and they just stacked 8 and 9 guys in the box. Michigan wasn't going to run the ball outside of Khalil Mullings breaking some off, Donovan Edwards breaking off 1 or so, and then Orji just had nothing going on. And frankly, the Orji era is over, and now it's up to Jack Tuttle, who himself was 10 of 18. Started out hot, right? The offense looked so much different when he came in the games. At this game, Jack's texting me, it's Tuttle time, off a whole new era. We are back. I had my guy FD Trump. Remember FD Trump from the not a political guy here, but FD Trump is a Twitter user. Watch the show. That's his Twitter handle. It's like 2024 and some change. He was texting me, we're back. And then fourth quarter, to you, to him, to some others, we are not back, as Tuttle has a really just ugly interception where he stared down a receiver and then tried to take off for one. We had several guys open, it seems, and fumble the ball himself. So Jack Tuttle seems like he is going to be the guy going forward, and leads me to this thought. The only thing I can think of is, was Tuttle the plan all along? If you think back to Kirk Campbell and Sherrone, they had the opportunity in April, right in the middle of Michigan spring practice, which Tuttle did not really even partake in, right? But they knew what they had from the season, and they were both, Campbell and Sherrone, very adamant that the quarterback that's going to lead this team in the future is on the spring roster. And maybe it's Davis Warren. Everyone pretty much thought Alex Orji, maybe Jaden Davis, but obviously that's not really seemed to be happening. But it had to be Tuttle, in my opinion. It had to be Tuttle all along, because there's no way Michigan goes into a season with the quarterback play of Alex Orji or Davis Warren thinking they can compete coming off a national title. And the injury to Tuttle in mid to late July before fall camp seemingly threw off the plans of this coaching staff. Now, with Tuttle as quarterback, you have 6 games to go. And I think it's pretty obvious, too, that Tuttle's not fully recovered from injury, because he doesn't have a ton of zip on the ball, but he at least goes through progressions. He at least looks around the field. He at least can hit a receiver more than a few yards downfield, which he did several times. Donovan Edwards, the tight ends, Marlon Klein, and, of course, Colson Loveland. Not really to wide receivers, which we'll talk about here in a moment. So you see the 6 games there on Michigan's schedule. I want to ask you guys a question. Now, look at the clock here. This is the time you typically hit with a YouTube ad break. So we want to time it up, allow you to use this time on YouTube to go down and answer the question. So predict Michigan's win-loss record over those last 6 games. That'll be the pinned comment, the one right below the video. Scroll down, reply to that comment, scroll back up. The ad break should be over. I don't know what I'm going to say, Jack. I mean, the pessimist, the old Yoder, 2029 Yoder, 2027 Yoder, 2013 Yoder, whatever it is. Did I say 2029? I mean 2019, 2017, etc. Pessimist Yoder would say that this team's probably going to go 2-4 down the stretch, maybe even 1-5. And my only explanation you see there is, like, it had to be Tuttle all along, because we just didn't see competent. We didn't even see Northwestern quarterback play. We didn't even see quarterback play that could win 7 or 8 games in the MAC. And Tuttle must have been the guy. They must have thought they had something in him that could get through this season, either as a bridge to Jaden Davis or a bridge to have a better shot at those December and early January transfer portals, which they didn't have a chance to go after this past year, because didn't know whether J.J. McCarthy was going to come back for his senior year, didn't even know who the head coach was going to be, during that transfer portal window. And Michigan was preparing for Alabama and then for a national championship, which I think, frankly, is unfair to teams like the Wolverines. But clearly, Washington and Jed Fish got it done with Will Rogers coming over from Mississippi State. Now, game was announced today. Game time for Michigan's game coming up a week from Saturday on, the 16th? What's the date of that game, Jack? The 19th, that's right, on October 19th. So no game this week. There's a lot of good games on this weekend, most notably Ohio State and Oregon. There's also USC, Penn State, quite a few other ones, a couple in the SEC of ranked teams. Michigan's going to head on the road to a team ranked higher to them and with less loss, with Illinois, who lost on the road themselves a couple weeks ago by 14 to Penn State. Remember, this Illinois team 2 years ago, 2022, they almost pulled the upset against Michigan, the Blake Corum injury game, and Michigan needed a couple of J.J. McCarthy, just very tight window passes to get 3 or 4 field goals in the second half of the game to pull that game off. Jack, what is that? What is that, Jack? What is that stink? What is that stink? It's not me. It's not you. It's not you, the audience. It is Stink Martindale. We've renamed him. It is no longer Wink Martindale. It is Stink Martindale, because it seems like he just got lucky in the first half against USC. Other than that, what have we seen from Stink Martindale? This team has so much talent on it. You got a first-round cornerback in Will Johnson. You've got returning starter at safety in Makari Page, who just looks like a shell of himself from the last couple of years. You got high talented player. Who, Jack? Mason. Yeah, I'm not even talking about the secondary. You got J.R. Hill, who was, prior to this game, Hill and Johnson were the top two, was the number one cornerback tandem in all of college football in the Pro Football Focus rankings. Then you got 2 all-time generational interior guys. You got 2 stand-up David Ojabo types on the outside, 2 starting linebackers from other schools, from Nebraska, from Maryland. What more do you want, Wink Martindale? You are not a college coach. The game has passed you by, and you keep giving up points in the fourth quarter. 13 more points. I understand those 2 turnovers. I understand. You know what you've got. But just the fact, and I listened to the Joel Klatt show today, Jack, on the way in, because I just kind of wanted to hear some more perspective on what other people said. I don't trust the Michigan blog boys because they're just complete liars. They're fake news. But I listened to Klatt, and I'm going to watch on YouTube too, so if you guys want to look at it too. He said he's showing different formations where Michigan had a linebacker or a safety and just a corner on 3 wide receivers to the wide side of the field. Everybody blitzing and going to the opposite side. It's like you don't have a chance to stop this passing game, whether it's Minnesota, whether it's USC, or whether it was Washington on Saturday night. A lot of you guys went to the game. You got good ticket prices, and I think you did it because of our sponsor, Game Time. It's the ticket app that we use, Jack and I, to go to the national championship game. Thanks to people like Ashley Lawson, like Wolverine Alaska, and John Blaze as we're rocking their jerseys. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluffs to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets to events. You see the price on screen. Ticket prices are low. They're going to continue to come down for Michigan's last 3 home games of the year. The thing I love most about the Game Time app is I can see where my seat's going to be, a panoramic view from my seat before I buy. And again, all in pricing, you toggle that feature on, you know your price up front, no surprise fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. As these Wolverines lose to Washington, go into the fourth quarter after 3 Jack Tuttle drives, right? You get you're down 14-0, then it's 14-7, and then you're up 17-14. You go into the fourth quarter and 2 turnovers from the offense, but nevertheless, this defense falters again. Will Rogers, not a superstar quarterback, didn't do much at Mississippi State, put up some good stats here and there. 21 of 31, couple touchdowns, 1 interception, 271 pass yards of 315 that Washington put on Michigan for the day, 429 yards total. Frankly, I couldn't believe my eyes watching this game. It's like, who's coaching this team? Who's preparing these guys? Who's putting together a game plan that says Alex Orji is going to run these plays, or that, hey, Orji, a day ago, 2 days ago, we named a starter for this week in practice, that Orji was better than Jack Tuttle. I just don't understand it. What I also don't understand is why Wink Martindale continues to blitz and bring 6 and 7 guys every time. It's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11, etc., etc. Of the 6 times that Washington had 3rd and 7 or more, they turned 3 of those 6 into first downs. Now, 1 was on a penalty, done play by Will Johnson towards the end of the game. 3 of 6 times, 3rd and 7 or long, are resulting in first downs on for this team. I think Wink Martindale is going to go down as Sherrone Moore's, maybe the hire that costs him his job eventually, because you're going to waste a season with 3 first-round talents, at least 3 first-round talents on this year's team. It's an abomination. Wink Martindale should be ashamed of himself. And after what you saw the last 3 years with young Mike McDonald, young Jesse Minter, Wink got fired from 2 jobs in that 3-year period. How are you going to hire a 60-year-old coach to come in and own college football like those defensive coordinators have the last few years? Will he be the DC in 2025 next season? Give me a yes or a no down in the comments. Let's continue on the Michigan football report. This team has no wide receivers. And, you know, Ron Bellamy, the wide receiver coach, what are you doing? Who are you coaching? I get that the quarterback play has stunk, but even when he brought in Jack Tuttle, even when you had Davis Warren, these wide receivers weren't doing a single thing all year long. Now, this is a blog boy. I don't trust him. I don't follow him. I probably have him blocked on Twitter. But I saw this tweet out there in an article someone referenced on the absurdity of the Michigan football passing game, and so I had to show it. Trevor McHugh of Rivals.com put this out there that Omarion Walker on his 22-yard catch is the only wide receiver target past the line of scrimmage. 3 catches for Michigan's wide receivers. As you see here, the other 2 outside of Walker's 22-yarders was Samaj Morgan, Tyler Morris, 16 yards and 8 yards. Both of those were behind the line of scrimmage. That is pathetic. That is uncalled for. That is an absolute abomination of a game plan. Jack Tuttle was in this game for 2.5 quarters, and you still can't throw a single pass outside of one to Marion Walker downfield past the line of scrimmage to your wide receivers. Why are they even there? What's the point? Just run the wing T. 3 running backs in the backfield. Have Marlon Klein and Colson Loveland on opposite sides. 3 running backs in the backfield with Tuttle if you're not going to even attempt to throw the ball to these wide receivers. Now, there was a small glimmer of hope is once Orji came out of the game and Tuttle went in there and the defense couldn't just completely, bombard the line of scrimmage, which I don't think plays well to the Don's, skill set, which is why he is struggling. He doesn't break off tacklers well. If there's a glimpse, right? Cut this way, you got 4 or 5 safeties, cornerbacks back there, maybe 5, 6 guys in the box. Boom, there's a hole right there. The Don, that's where he succeeds. He hasn't succeeded in the Alex Orji run offense. As we continue on with this Michigan offense, I do want to continue to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel. We're coming up on, what is it, Jack? 33,000 subscribers pretty soon. 33,000 subscribers. We're less than 200 away. YouTube.com/Michigan TV. This is going to be the source for all of your Michigan football news the rest of the season, no matter win, lose, or disaster, whatever happens going forward. Now, 14 carries, 98 yards for the Don. A touchdown that, frankly, his touchdown, I mean, I know those guys in the defense in different ways, Jack, but it was the exact same play. It was 39 yards, exact same play as I think it was the 41-yarder. It was the second touchdown run where he cut to the right, straight down, touchdown, Michigan, the Don. And I was glad to see it because I do think that this team and this offensive philosophy has let Edwards down this year. Now, Kalel Mullings is reportedly the starting running back. Got the same amount of carries, but only 49 yards. Certainly didn't have the breakaway runs that he's had the last 3 games, or really as many broken tackles as we've come to expect from Kalel Mullings. So just a glimmer of hope. If you get any sort of passing game going with Jack Tuttle, glimmer of hope from these running back games that this could be a competent offense, enough that it could be put up 350, 400 yards, etc. down the stretch. But they're going to have to overcome potentially their offensive coordinator, right? And that is Kirk Campbell. The offensive play calling, no matter if it's Davis Warren, no matter if it's Alex Orji, but worse with Orji, Jack Tuttle, it doesn't matter. It's been atrocious, right? You have not played to the strength of your players. You haven't used Donovan Edwards really anywhere, outside of a few catches this year where he's going to succeed. You certainly haven't put Alex Orji in a position to succeed, right? His one pass downfield against Minnesota was intercepted to Loveland, right, where he had the Don going on a wheel route to the opposite side. This offensive game plan and philosophy, I understand they're replacing 10 starters. Okay, let's get past that. But you had the opportunity, Sherrone Moore, you had the opportunity to Kirk Campbell to go out and at least try and find a single quarterback that could play in this offense. You knew. It's not either surprising. Michigan knew at this time last year, Jack, we were talking about in August of last year that, hey, this team is most likely only going to have one returning starter, Colson Loveland, next year. It was obvious to everyone. So they should have started prepping guys a little bit more in the second halves of games last year, doing a little more aggressive actions in the transfer portal. And for me, this offense has overtaken 2008, the first Rich Rod year, where you were basically, turning over almost as many guys. I think that team had 3 starters returning on offense, all offensive linemen, maybe 1 tight end, I'll have to remember it. But this is a worse offense than that one, where Sam McGuffey was your best running back, true freshman out of Texas, for most of the year. There's no arguing anymore. It is not a valid argument to make. People say, well, what about 2008? What about 2008? Let me go through the games in 2008. In the opener, Michigan lost 25-23. Sheridan was 11 of 19 for 98 yards. Stephen 3, 8 of 19 for 69 yards. Michigan Russ for 36 yards. Better performance than most Michigan games this year so far. Okay, next game, Miami of Ohio, win 16-6. Street Sheridan, 10 of 18 for 103 yards, no touchdowns. Michigan rushed 35 times for 178 in the win. All right, let's go to Notre Dame, a 35-17 loss. 16 of 23 for 175 and a touchdown. Sheridan, 3 of 5 and 2 interceptions. Sam McGuffey, 25 carries for 131. Michigan, 159 yards rushing total in the game, 229 passing. That's better than any game this year by far. One game later, Michigan with the upset over number 9 Wisconsin, 27-25. 12 of 31 for 96 yards. Think of how bad that is. That's better than any Alex Orji game so far this year. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions in the win. 3 also, you guys have to remember this run that really got Michigan back in the game. 9 carries for 89 yards for the 6'7" quarterback with no athletic talent. 3 McGuffey, 36 yards. Brandon Miner, 35. Kevin Grady, 17. on that day. Michigan 96 yards passing. Continue on 2 more games. 45-20 loss to Illinois. 18 of 35 for 250, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Michigan ran for 69 yards. And then the abysmal loss to Toledo, 13-10 loss to Toledo. Sheridan 8 of 16 for 65, 7-11 for 55. Michigan ran for 170. You just can't convince me. There's no argument back that Michigan's 2008 offense was worse than this year's, because it isn't and it's not. And Michigan's got 6 games going to prove that they are not the worst offense in the history of this school. I don't know from you guys, Jack Tuttle's got no eligibility next year, so is the 2025 quarterback for this team currently on the roster? And if he is, what does that say about this team going forward? Give me a 1 for yes, a 2 for no. Don't just type yes or no here. We asked you a yes or no question earlier, so let's take a vote by voting 1 for yes, 2 for no. We'll be back on Tuesday. It's the Michigan Football Report. Till then, go Blue.